How are you?
I'm wonderful.
It's good to see you again. It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you too, Ken. I had to bring you in with your production.
Yes, ma'am. I had to be ready with my bow tie. I told you I was gonna
That's
hook it up.
that's okay. That's okay. Welcome to the Face Behind the Brand. I am your host, Monique Marie, and you are the
I'm
pro-
mini producer.
you are many, but you are many other things. You are a curator. You are a content creator. You're a musician. You are an influencer. And yes, you are a mini producer.
Yes, yes.
So welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time out tonight. How was your day today?
It was good. It was good. I can't complain. How about yours?
My day was good. It was kind of busy. But it's kind of hot out here in the Bay Area. You're in ATL, right? You're in Atlanta?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yes. So tell us, for those, of course, who are coming in tonight, many, of course, people know who you are. Tell us who Mini Producer is, aside from, of course, what I just shared.
Man, well, I mean, you shared a lot, honestly.
I
But I
have.
guess I'm an entertainer.
Mm,
I'm an entertainer that knows how to make, good music and connect with talent. But overall, I feel like I'm really just an entertainer. I'm ready to do most whatever aligns with what my goals are and morally and stuff. Like I'm pretty open to doing some new things. So I've done a lot of things that are not just necessarily music related. Whether that's acting or being in music videos and stuff like that. So.
absolutely. Well, I want to know where it all began, because I know we talked a little bit about, high school and college, but what were the sounds, of course, growing up hearing music? I mean, who were some of the classics and influences that got?
Ooh. I love Stevie Wonder. Like me and my
Ooh,
granddad. Yeah, my granddad and I, when he would come to take me to Ohio, because that's where I was born, we would listen to. I would want to listen to the Stevie Wonder CD.
mm,
One because Stevie Wonder songs are all long, so it took us the whole trip. And it was just one of my favorite artists. Still is we would listen to him and just any other kind of music that my granddad really liked. We would listen to on those trips. So that's really a big moment for me. And then my parents, of course, they play like Michael Jackson and like just different artists like from the '90s and '80s and that kind of stuff. Uh, I think her name's Tina Marie. Is that her name? I can't. I don't want to even lie to you.
uh-huh.
I think her name is Tina. Is it Tina Marie? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So artists like that and stuff.
You making me feel old, mini producer. Wait a minute now.
I'm
I was
not
like, is
trying
that
to
her
do,
name?
I just had to make sure, you know, so, artists like
Yes,
that, they would play. So, it was just always that kind of music and influence that I just really enjoyed listening to, growing up.
absolutely. I see we have some special guests, of course, supporting us tonight. I appreciate Orlando Rocco in the building. I see Major DeVoe is in the building. Of
Yes.
course, special guest coming in to honor and support you. So
Thank
talk about
you.
some of these people we're talking about, because you have had, and of course we can be on here probably for over an hour listing some of the credits. But just speaking of some of the folks, Keyiara is one. That's a big one with Bandemic.
Yes.
That's a
Yes.
big hit. Of course, I can attest to it. I love the sound.
Thank you. It's a good song for sure. Yes.
It's a damn good song. We came into 3D Hook King, of course,
Yes.
featuring Boldy James and Smoke Lester with No Pressure.
Yes.
You most recently, of course, we know, of course, you're working with Dirty Diana.
Yes, yes.
Excited about
Shout out to Dirty. Yes,
Shot Dirty. Krishan Woods, Energy,
yes. With
of course,
Tiffany Evans on it. Yes.
Evans,
All
beautiful,
good stuff.
beautiful vocals, both of them performance wise. I mean, just amazing, amazing vocals. Fred the Godson, may he rest in peace.
Yes,
Fred the
yes.
God. You have again collaborated with some incredible artists, Young Blue, you know, YBN. The list is just it's incredible.
Yes.
And
Yes.
what,
I'm
how does that
grateful.
feel? I mean, you're the one that's done it. So what do you have to say for yourself, sir?
Yeah. I mean, I'm incredibly grateful and blessed, to be able to have the opportunity to work with these artists. If you would have told me that I would be able to do that, I wouldn't have believed you because, I just, I guess I hadn't seen that that would be a possibility, but now having those credits and being able to work with those people, I mean, I'm still the same guy I was, a few years ago, but just with some credits under my belt. But I'm just really grateful to have the opportunity to work with major artists. But most importantly, I mean, my biggest thing, which is my bread and butter, are independent artists.
Yeah.
And so I love working with up and coming artists. I've worked with Major. We have a song out called Ambition. It
Yeah.
has a music video and everything, and we got other songs together. So artists like that are what really keep me going because
Yeah.
the major artists just help me with my sometimes most of the time with my brand. People taking me serious, but the independent artists are what give me that drive. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
man, what independent artists am I gonna network with today, or what artists can we mold and that kind of thing together to just build something special. So independent artists, I say this in any interview I do, are my bread and butter, and I'm always gonna show love as much as I can, no matter how many credits I get or how big I get.
Yeah. Well, you are, as I mentioned earlier, yes, you're a producer. You specialize, of course, in trap, rap, and R&B, but you are
Yes,
classically trained in piano. Talk to us about that
yes.
skill set.
Yeah, so I, believe it or not, I took piano lessons as a kid. So I mean, I'm not Mozart or anything, but I do understand and have the knowledge of like keys and stuff like that. I've been practicing more and more because I kind of got out of practice once I stopped taking lessons, and I just wasn't really utilizing that skill set when I would make beats. I would just do it on my actual software.
Mhm.
But now I've been getting back into teaching myself how to play because I just that's my favorite instrument.
Yeah.
That's my top instrument and guitar. I like guitar, but as far as the piano, I just think it's such a great instrument to put with beats because
Yeah.
you can't beat it. In regards to just having that skill set and the knowledge on like music theory and stuff is really important, especially for me because it does give me an advantage when
Hmm.
it comes to beat making and like understanding different keys that I'm in or whatever it is. It just definitely helps knowledge to just make your stuff sound better. For me personally, I think it's important.
Absolutely. Well, so for someone who is looking to follow in your footsteps as a producer, as an entertainer, um, as a musician, and they are fresh out of high school, college, what are the fundamental components that you would say one
Mm.
needs to go into producing?
One, I would say this doesn't even have anything to do with music. Be a genuine person. I think a
Woo!
lot of times people try to put on this persona of being somebody else. And for
Mm,
me, I found that I connected with the right people when I was just myself, you
yeah.
know. And I think it's easy to get caught up in like, oh, what other people are doing and they're showing joy and they're doing these things and you kind of get lost in that. But I noticed that the right situations come to you when you just stay authentic to yourself.
Mm,
You know what I mean? So me being myself has connected. I've been able to connect with some incredible, people during my time doing this. So that's first and foremost what I would focus on if you're looking to be in this field because there can be a lot of grimy people and people that are gonna try to, you know, kind of knock your hustle or just
Yeah.
make you not want to do this anymore. But you got to just stay authentic to yourself, and everything else is going to come into place. And then as for the music side, I would say be open to learning new things, but also, you know, be proud of the sound that you have for yourself.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people are going to tell you, oh, you should do this, you should make beats like this. I still to this day have people telling me, oh, how I should make beats. Even with getting credits, people try to tell you how to, you know, make beats. And it's okay to get some insight, but also be aware of who you're getting that insight from.
Mm.
Is your friend just telling you how to make beats and they never made a beat in their life? Or is it someone who's had years of experience and they're
Yeah.
giving you insight? And even then, it's still your production.
Yeah.
So, you know, what may not be the sound of today might be the sound of tomorrow. You know what I mean? So don't focus so much on that, because I even have to remind myself that, because I'm telling you, people be in my ear trying to tell me how I should make beats, and I just have to stay true to what feels right to me, and everything has been working out. You see the credits, so I'm not having any issues on this side of town. But you know, just stay true to yourself all around, whether it's making beats or just being yourself, because
You're
it's
so
all gonna
funny
work out. It's
because you
gonna
see the
work out.
credit. Yeah.
You see
Like
the
it
credit
hasn't
now.
been. You stop trying to give me credit, okay? You
Okay.
know what's so you know what's so funny you say that, because I always say, you know, I only really listen to those that I respect. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of people who try to tell you something, and you really have to kind of, you know, you listen to it and kind of let it go in. But it's like, I really have to be respecting you, for one, to really, really kind of take it all in first and foremost. So definitely in agreement with you there. I asked you a question during the preliminary, so I'll ask you that question again if you remember.
Okay, okay. Come on
And
now.
you kind of just touched on it, King. So let me say it. I'll say it again in the way I said it the first time. So, and I'll let you elaborate on the difference. There is no wrong or right answer, right?
Okay.
Is it important, with everything you just said, is it important to do what you love or to love what you do?
Okay, and I got to market this answer, because when we did the
Oh,
preliminary, it had me. Okay, so as I said to you, I think it's important both,
yeah.
because even though I am doing what I do, I still, what is it? You said, is it important to do what you love or love what you do?
Uh-huh.
So I think it's important for
Little
both,
tongue.
because sometimes sometimes you can love what you do, but also it can come to a point where you're not doing what you love. And I know that makes no sense, because when someone watches this back, they're gonna be like, I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about sometimes, but I'm trying my best. But all in all, I think it's important to do what you love, but also kind of remind yourself why you're doing it. Because even if you're doing what you love, you can still kind of, you know, start overthinking stuff, or maybe stuff's not going the way that you thought it would go. So you doing what you love, now you got to do something you kind of like or hate or whatever to get like a different kind of result, whether it's financially or whatever. But I feel like if you stay true to doing what you love, like everything is going to kind of come together, because I've been doing what I love, and you know, things are
Yeah.
working out. And I had plenty of people who try to tell me I should do other things that could potentially make more money or whatever. But my thing was, I was just gonna keep going, and same still am. I'm still gonna keep going, because I know that like the day that I would have decided to quit would be the day something would pop up. That's how my life would work. I would decide to quit, and then someone would be like, oh, guess what? You're viral, and everything's blowing up. I'd be like, gosh darn it, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm just good. You just got to keep doing what you love, because now that's not saying do what you love and not be smart about it. Now, I'm not saying that. Now, if you can't, you know, pay the bills, and you're like, well, I'm doing what I love, don't say Minnie said that, because I did not say that. I didn't say don't pay your bills
Yeah.
doing what you love. I'm just saying don't try to like step away from doing what you love
Yeah.
entirely. Like you gotta do what you gotta do. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
And
Yeah, like don't not pay your rent because you said many producers said do what I love, so I'm gonna be out here not on my priorities, because that is not what I said. That is a disclaimer. I did not say do that.
put it back on me, Minnie. Put it back on me. I asked a question. But you know what? It's
Yes.
had actually shared something last week, posted, and it's interesting just to kind of piggyback off the answer you just gave. You posted, when you focus on providing value, the money
Yes, the
comes.
money will come. Yes.
Yeah.
Man, I tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so I think with that said, you know, I think when we do that, and I'm
Yes.
again a living testament for it, because we all have had day jobs and clocking the clock and things like that, and this is something that I have myself. I've walked away a few times from 9 to 5, and
Yes.
and I would do it again because I know what I'm bringing.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I think too, spiritually speaking, like when you're called to do this, like you
Yes.
won't stop being, you know. You
It's
believe
so true,
that?
because every time I would try to walk away, from something that had to do with music, it would just keep pulling me back. I was like, you know what? Okay, cool. You trying to let me know something? I understand. I'll listen. You know what I mean? So I definitely agree with that. It just keeps, when it's your calling, it's meant for you.
Yeah. Let me ask you another very important question.
Okay.
Is it important to have either brown rice or white rice when you're eating dinner?
I like
Brown.
white rice.
I didn't even get out.
I like white rice. Now I have had brown rice. I feel like it doesn't even matter. I'm pretty sure there's not a difference. It's probably just visually for me. But I guess I just like white rice.
I didn't even get that question out. It's like
I'm not trying to discriminate against the rices, you know. I'm just saying I like white rice, you know, if anyone looks back on this.
white. It's crazy. White rice. Okay. So you said white rice, huh?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So what would you say sets many producers apart? This is a very saturated industry. There are many, and we know it's male dominated. There are
Yes.
female producers coming out more and more and more. We have classic
Right.
female producers, Missy Elliott,
Yes. Yes.
big time producers. But when it comes to being a male producer in this dominated industry, how are you staying relevant? What's separating you?
My personality.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like, no offense, but I feel
Yeah.
like when you are in a male-dominated industry, it's easy because you're already in a you're a man. Like, so you really don't have to do that much to be in this industry because it's already male-dominated. You know,
Yeah.
so I think sometimes as men, there is that like feeling of like I don't really have to do that much because this is already an industry that I kind of in the majority of, you know.
Mhm.
But for me, I've noticed that like me having an actual personality helps me stand apart because people actually want to talk to me and like to deal with me.
Mhm.
And I think it has to be more than just having talent and just making beats because anyone can make beats, you know, for the most part, you know what I'm saying? So it has to be more than that. So I think my personality and the fact that I'm not trying to get on, you know, over on anyone. Like, as someone said it here, Trey, shout out to Trey, you know, he said I'm a good businessman, which I
Mhm.
really appreciate that because I
Yes.
think that being an honest person, doing honest business, having good intentions when working with people is what sets me apart.
Mhm.
Not being money hungry. I think when you're hungry for the money, it definitely shows, and it shows more so as desperation. You know, I like to. I don't care if you pay me $5 or $5,000. I treat everybody the same. I don't like to categorize anyone based off of financial gain.
Mhm.
It's really more so of the relationship. So I feel like what sets me apart, like I said, overall is my personality. Like people feel like they can connect with me, which I do appreciate. I do. I'm happy that I can be, you know, a person that people feel like they can come to, not just for music related things, but you know, just to say what's up or
Yeah.
you know what's going on. So
Work.
yeah,
Yeah. Friendship building, relationship. Well, yeah, and
yeah,
that's interesting. Speaking of people, because we know that this is a dominated industry based on who you know and how you know,
exactly.
and maintaining good relationships. Not just energy, but synergy, if you will. So,
Yes,
speaking of one of those very important persons,
Yes.
Shout out to AB Butler,
Yes,
just for
AB,
making it
AB, making this
possible.
happen.
Yeah,
Yeah, AB. I just gotta give
yeah,
a quick story on that. So AB, shout out to him. He's been a great asset just to have around. We
yeah,
have like honestly, he's just such a good friend. He's really helped connect with just things for me, and you
yeah.
know even for myself, I have new management now. Shout out to Groundbreaking Entertainment. But me and
Wow.
AB though, it's like one of those people that like, cause he's went back in the game entertainment. It's all the entertainments. But
Yeah,
AB and I, we met prior, so we've always had just a really good relationship, and he's always just helped me as much as he can with the things that he can do. So it's nice even still to for our relationship not necessarily having like that contractual agreement, but just more so like loyalty like brothers, and I think it's really dope because he's been an awesome asset. He doesn't, and it's just been nice. So yeah, shout out to AB.
yeah,
And I'm grateful to have people like him around that are willing to still be involved. No matter what I got going on, because some people, if you already have management, they don't even want to mess with you. They don't want to help you in any way. But
yeah,
for him, he's very respectful of me having management already, but also still bringing opportunities to me that he knows about. You know what I mean? Because we don't know everything. So I just always appreciate AB. He's
right.
super amazing. Like really grateful for him. So
Yeah, yeah. It's real, And I, again, as I shared with
yes.
you too, I met AB through Hack Shabazz. So shout out to Hack Shabazz
Hmm.
as well. And amazing kings, amazing veterans in this business, know the
Yes.
business, and
Yes.
just very upfront about the business. You know what I'm saying? No sugarcoating. Like this is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I just feel thankful again too of him introducing me to you, and allowing me to connect with you and network. And then of course you setting up the time for tonight for the interview. So
Yes.
definitely
It's amazing.
grateful. So tell me this, has your music journey, do you think it's had a deliberate direction, or did it simply like gradually evolve into what direction it's grown into?
I think it's gradually evolved personally.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know I would be doing music as a career, to be honest. So, everything that happens to me is such a surprise.
Yeah.
Like I just told you, I got new management, and it's incredible. Her name is Jasmine, which is so ironic because my real name is Jay. So it works. But
Yeah.
the the great thing about this music industry is you connect with people in such organic ways, and I think that energy, which is what I love so much about this new situation, is just like it's so genuine. Like I said, it's hard to find that in this industry sometimes. So I think my journey has been kind of a roller coaster, but I think we're easing on down on the roller coaster. I think we're going to a good path,
Yeah.
but I'm grateful for anything that's happened, good, bad, or indifferent. It's led me to where I am now, and I don't think anything happens, by chance. I think it's all meant to happen for whatever reason. So it's definitely been a gradual progression, but I'm grateful every day that I get to do something that I love, and you know, be networking with people that also love what they do and are just as passionate in their fields as I am. So um, I'm loving the journey. I think that's the loving the process is important. Because if you don't love the process, you're gonna get lost. You're gonna be
Yeah.
sad, and
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I was just talking to a friend today, and I was saying, like, it's not going to be easy, but I mean,
right.
the I think is the most amazing part, because once you do accomplish and gain those rewards, not awards, but rewards, I think it's just a beautiful thing, because you know what you went through to get it. It wasn't handed to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
So
I,
true.
I asked you another very, very important question during the preliminary. I asked you if you could change one thing about the industry, what would it be? And your answer was accessibility. And I want you to go into that only because we're not talking about accessibility as far as getting in and getting signed. We're talking about based on disability. And you
Yes.
have a disability known as osteogenesis imperfecta. Am I saying that correct?
Osteogenesis, osteo,
Yeah.
genesis imperfecta. But it's close enough. It's a hard word to say if you
Yeah.
don't have it. Yes, in regards to disability, I think making it more accessible, because the thing is, for myself, I am more of that kind of rare occasion in the music industry. I feel like people aren't used to seeing those like me be super successful in the industry. And if you are successful, then it's like one or two people that they can point out that are doing stuff. So then you're getting confused with somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you were that guy. Like, no, that's not me.
Yeah.
So I think like I've had situations where I couldn't get in the studios, I had to be carried in. And that's
Yeah.
demeaning for anyone. But I feel like
Yeah.
not to bring gender into it, but I feel like as a man being carried into a studio and you're already small, like it just doesn't look good. It's not a good look. Like you wanna present yourself in a way where people take you serious. And I
Yeah.
think just in general with having a disability, people already have a hard time taking those that are disabled a lot of times serious in whatever field they're in,
Yeah.
and especially the music industry, because I'm not the typical, type of look that people expect to be producing. I think that does kind of have, like, give people a reason to feel like that they can just take advantage of me or try to get one over on me and take me less serious as just a human being in general. So I think that the music industry should definitely be more accessible and more well thought out, because everyone that goes into a studio is not able bodied. There's people like
Yeah.
me that want to, produce and work with these people, and, even these venues, you go to venues for clubs and stuff like that. They're not accessible. You can't get in. And these are some of these big, opportunities that
Yeah.
most people don't even have to think twice about. And I think the reason why we don't really talk about disability that much in the music industry is because no one really knows how to talk about it, because there's not a lot of people, like I said, that look like how I do, that can really speak on what does that look like? What can we do better, to really make it accessible in regards to disability. And like I told you on the preliminary, I think accessibility should also be in regards to gender. As we talked about before, the music industry is male dominated, and I think it should be more just other people being able to be in the industry and be taken serious, because
Yeah.
even I'm sure for yourself, as we talked about, you being a woman in this industry, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? You're gonna get taken serious if people are trying to holler at you and
Yeah.
not taking you serious for what you do.
Yeah.
So I think that also comes into accessibility as well. So I think it's important that we really open our eyes to these different types of areas, no matter what our involvement is, and just really piecing together how can we make this better? Because
Yeah.
I feel like the music industry is such a special place
Yeah.
to be in, that I think anyone that is genuine and wants to be in it should be able to be a part of a community like this.
Yeah. Absolutely, King. Absolutely. And the thing is, I mean, by law, just like any restaurant or building, or anytime someone purchases something, there's specific, acts that have been passed that you have to have a place that's accessible to a person with disability. The ADA Act
Mm-hmm.
is, you have to make sure you have ramps. You have to make sure, if you're in a building and you're on the 8th floor, thankfully you have a beautiful building on the 8th floor or whatever with a beautiful view, but do you have an elevator? You know what I'm saying? So those types of
Right.
things I think are crucial, especially to so many people now going the indie route, and starting their own labels and
Right.
buying their own buildings or whatever. This is an incredible conversation and very important conversation to be having.
Yes.
So I think it starts with you, it starts with me, it starts with the rest of the culture having the
Yes.
conversation, because abilities are not just, of course, genetic. people can become disabled in the
Yes,
middle of
you
their
can.
normal life.
Yes,
So we would all want to be still access, the places and people who we normally see. And that's exactly what we're talking about. So
yes,
yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I like to do something called wordplay, and I shared that with you.
yes.
So I'm going to shoot out a few words, and I'd like to see what comes to mind first when I say these words. No wrong or right answer, just whatever comes off the top of your mind when I first say either one word or a term, two words together.
Okay, let's
You
get it.
ready?
Mm-hmm.
Authentic.
Uh, Shoot, I thought I would be better with this. Authentic. I just say another word in response. Like, how does this work? You
Anything
said
that comes to mind first. Whatever comes to
okay.
mind when I first said that word.
I would say honesty. Is what I hear when you say authentic.
Wow, I like that. Okay, okay. Um, Tunnel vision.
Um, Focused.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Humility.
Ooh. Um. Mm. I feel like I would either say like vulnerability or like humbleness. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think yeah.
Yeah. Uh, Inspiration.
Inspiration. Oh, okay. Man, I don't know what I think of when I hear the word inspiration. I want to say light. Like when I mean light, I just mean like maybe a light for others. Like you kind of like shine, you know.
Yeah,
So you're
yeah,
like a light.
yeah, absolutely. Powerful.
Um, Leader.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, cause like just cause you're powerful, like, I feel like it's important to still like be a leader at the same time.
And lead by example. Yes, yes.
Hmm.
I picked those words for each artist, prior to your interview because those are some of the words that come to mind when I do my background on each person, and those specific words came to mind about you.
Oh man, see, like
So,
yo, thank you so much.
yeah,
Wow, that's incredible.
absolutely.
Thank you.
So, who are you listening to lately? Who's on your playlist besides everybody you're producing?
To be honest, I really don't listen to many newer stuff. To be honest, I'm probably listening to a lot of stuff I produce,
What
to
you're
be real with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what I'm working on, I like to kind of hone in on that because I've noticed like if I listen to too much new stuff, I start to overthink my
Mm,
own production.
I like.
So I just kind of like to listen to people I already produce and then figure out how to get better so that I stay focused on what my end goal is.
Absolutely. I like that. So if you could only read one book for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I really are we allowed to cuss on here? Because the book
Oh,
is as a cuss. Okay, the book is called The Art of Not Giving a Fuck,
mm,
and it is such a good book. I mean, if I had to read that book over and over again, I definitely would because it's just it's such a good book. It's just telling you not to care about what other people are thinking, and I think that's an important thing to walk away with because sometimes we can't care about what people are thinking. So I think that's a book I could definitely read if I had to only read one.
I like that. So the art
Hmm.
of not giving a fuck.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I would check it out if you haven't already. It's a good book.
What are your thoughts on this? If we learn from our mistakes, why are we always so afraid to make a mistake?
Ooh, ooh, I feel like we don't like the repercussions that come with making a mistake
Mm,
because I made some mistakes. I'm like, yeah, I made those mistakes, but I definitely didn't like what came with it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I think it's just the results of those mistakes is why we don't want to make a mistake. And then in that not wanting to make a mistake, we tend to make mistakes because we're trying to be so perfect, and then we miss something, and end up making a mistake by trying to be, too perfect. So, yeah, I think it's just the consequences of those mistakes.
Mhm.
It's more time why people don't want to make mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed. So based on what you have learned so far, I would say just in life so far, you're still very young,
Yes.
and still learning. But if you could go back and tell your younger self, so talking about how when you started in college and high school, started making beats, a word of advice, what would
Hmm.
it be?
Um, I would say don't don't jump at an opportunity just because it sounds good. Like really make sure that everything aligns. Um, because I know for myself, as far as business, I've definitely got myself in situations where there were contracts and stuff, and things sounded good, but they weren't good, and
Mhm.
those people didn't have good intentions for you. So I would definitely say, yeah, like just making sure that you have everything together first before you hop into a situation, and make sure you're checking people out. Don't just do it because it sounds good, or sometimes you're not going to be able to get out of those situations. Thankfully, I have in every situation. However, that's not a guarantee. One size fits all for every situation. So I would just tell myself to be careful and be aware of like what people's intentions really are, and making sure that I do the research and have the knowledge before I get into situations.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We all know 2020 was a very interesting, challenging year.
Yeah,
Uh, there were losses, both life, loved ones, businesses, homes, just everything changed in 2020. Freedom, you know what I'm saying? Um,
hmm,
but there was also some good things that came out of 2020, and you definitely made an impact. You've worked with, again, some incredible artists, dropped some amazing
yes,
sounds. Talk about the importance of the internet and how you have been very successful, from the impact, of course, just by having the internet and cultivating with these other fans and indie
right.
artists
Oh
online.
man, the internet has been honestly so great because it's helped me network with people that I wouldn't have even thought of connecting with. I mean, for instance, I connected with AB. Shout out to him again,
Yeah,
and people like that.
yeah,
But I made some really genuine connections with people because of the internet. I think it can be a powerful tool if used correctly, and I'm always learning new things in regards to connecting with people better and creating content that creates an impact. I think that's my biggest thing, is creating an impact, and a positive one at that. So I think that's what the
hmm
internet has personally helped me with, and even with this pandemic, it's just given me ways to adapt and overcome certain situations. Um, and yeah, I mean, I'm grateful that I can utilize the tools that I have now instead of making excuses why stuff can't work out. I just find a way to make it work, for me, no matter what's going on. So the internet has definitely been a powerful tool in regards to my connections and making connections with, people all over the world and stuff like that.
Yeah, I would agree. I've made some great connections. I see one that just popped in. K Don, DJ High Volume. I see you, King. But yeah, definitely. Yeah. AB, I just so humbled,
Good guy. Yes.
AB.
Yes. He's a good
As a
guy.
mini producer, as a producer, you put together beautiful sounds. You put together interesting sounds, melodic sounds, if you will,
Yes.
and different elements. So speaking of elements, if you were and could control one of these elements,
Mm.
which would you choose? Fire or water?
Ooh, okay, okay, okay. Um, I feel like water Cause I feel like if you have me control fire, I wouldn't want to hurt anybody on accident.
Yeah.
I don't know if I think that might be a little too powerful for me. In
You
regards to the
burning everybody.
fire, it might get a little too much. But exactly, I'd be burning up, and it would be a whole trip. So I already know myself. So I think water, because
Yeah.
water can be used for healing and also put out fires. Yeah, I would definitely use water because you can use water for a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
drinking and things like that. So I would definitely control water. That would be my element.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. Um, okay. So if you could teach everyone in the world one concept, what
Mm.
would have the biggest positive impact on humanity?
Oh man, I would teach people how to love. Like I know that sounds so cheesy, even me saying that just seems so like,
Power
but like
love is
I
good.
would teach people how to love though, because I think if we had more love in the world, we could get
Right.
along so much better, And if we were just more okay with telling that we love each other, because I feel like men have a weird complex about telling each other that we love them, like we love each other, because they make it seem like it's some other connotation. But
Yeah.
like you can love anybody. Like I feel like you should tell people you love them because you never know how. I mean, not even just the fact that someone can like drop dead. It's more so just like why not tell someone you love them? If you love them, you love them. I mean, that's just a feeling.
Yeah.
If you got love for somebody, and I think like if I could use that, utilize that, I would. I would
I love
get
that.
people to love each other more. Yeah.
Wow. That's powerful because, love is the greatest. Love is one of the greatest.
Yes.
Um,
Shoot, Whitney Houston sang about it. The greatest love of all. Hello? You know what I'm
greatest gift
saying?
of love. Yeah.
Yo,
You're so
she didn't make that song for nothing. Like, come on now.
greatest gift of all. But out of all these things, even biblically, I mean, that's where she got it
Yes.
from.
Yes.
Love, these gifts and all these things that he gives us, the fruits of the spirit. Love is the
Yes.
most, love is the most
Yes.
greatest. He felt. And you know what, mini producer, it's something you said that because there was a time I did have a friend and I wanted to say it so bad to him, and I was scared because how he felt, how he would perceive it. Like, not that I'm
Right.
in, I was like, I just want to tell him that I was afraid, and I'm so glad that I did because you're right, he ended up passing.
Mm.
But that day that I said, I was like, you know what, just I said, fuck it, I'm just gonna. I was like, I love you, you know what I'm saying? He was like, what? He was like, I love you too, shit, fuck it. And
Yeah. See?
it turned into something more powerful because he was a dope friend. And yeah, this, and I'll never,
Right.
by you saying that, yeah, you never know because they can be gone. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's very important to share that because it's beautiful, and you don't know who hasn't heard it. Shit, there's
Yes.
some people in relationships in marriage that haven't heard their partner tell them. So
Yes. That's true.
that's a for another day.
Right. Right.
But
Right. Right.
yeah,
I feel you.
so you've given us a lot of gems tonight, but what I want to know is what is a gem that someone in your life has shared with you? The best advice thus far that you've received.
Oh man, that's hard. That's hard because I've gotten
Yeah,
a lot of good advice.
a lot
Um,
of people. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I think the authenticity part. Just people that
yeah.
I look up to have always told me to like stay true to myself. And that's where I really get that from. Always talking about being true to myself because that's what I've heard just in this industry is being true to myself. Because there's always an
Mhm.
easy way out. There's always, a way to kind of fast track things and make things happen quicker, but they may not be for you. So I just been told by people around me that care about me to just stay true to myself, and I've been keeping up with that, and letting what happens happen. So that's my
I
greatest
love it.
advice, and I still stay true to that. And I will say another thing. One of my family
Wow.
friends, one of a family friend, he told me that you're only in competition with yourself. And ever since he told me that when I was younger, I've always like held on to that, no matter what I did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that. Well, tell me this. What makes a hit song?
What makes a hit song? Ooh, man.
Mhm.
I think that's so subjective. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
I think it's a collaborative effort. It has to be the artist and it has to be the beat as well. I think it's important to have both. Now, mind you, though, you can have just a beat and it can still do well. I'm just gonna say that there is a
yeah,
benefit in that because I can just have an instrumental album and people listen to it. Not so much on the this listening to acapellas, but whatever. But I think it has to really, it has to be authentic. And I know we keep saying that word, but I think to have a hit song, it has to be authentic.
true.
That's why this song that I love, Bandemic with Keyiara. I mean, that has close to 100,000 streams now, and she and I, it's just so genuine because she loves what she does, I
Yeah,
love what I do, and it just came together and created something so great. So I feel like that makes a hit. And even if maybe if we played that in front of industry people, maybe they might have a different perception, but I don't feel like it needs that kind of validation. I feel like
yeah,
a hit is whatever you define. If you feel like something's a hit, it's a hit. You know what I mean? You don't need that outside
mm,
validation for that, because if you really believe in it, hey, then it's a hit to you.
yeah.
So yeah, that's what
Wow,
I would say.
you're incredible.
Thank you. I
Absolutely.
appreciate that.
That that right there just gave me chills because it is what it is. Yeah, it's not, one of my producers is a signed producer, and he's so humble, and that's probably why he's so successful, because he doesn't like to talk about the accolades. He doesn't like to talk
Yes.
about like what you just said, and it's so funny. Because I always be like, oh, superstar, he was like, don't start that shit with me.
Yes, yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah,
Like, come down a notch. You know what I'm saying? So, but no, very humble, and yeah, and that's what I perceive from you. And yes, definitely the collaboration with Keyiara. For one, she's a dope artist already, a dope writer, and she's got a lot of credits
yes,
too. But yeah, yes, it's phenomenal. Um, with the beat, being from the Bay, I love 808s all day. So I
thank,
think that's important too.
thank you. Yes,
So what's next? What's
yes,
next for mini?
definitely. Man, there's no limits, honestly.
No,
Um, I'm just I'm just going wherever I'm guided and to go. And I mean that more in a spiritual sense, not someone actually telling me what to do. More just whatever feels good, in the direction and stuff, like wherever that takes me. I'm going. But I know that I have so much more to offer than what I've even shown now, and I'm just incredibly thankful to have the right team and resources to get to where I want to go. So I'm going all the way to the top. You know what I mean? So there's no limits. I can't even say like, oh, sky's the limit. Like, nah, like there's no limit.
yeah,
I'm just
as the sky,
going.
as the sky.
I'm going.
I love
Yes,
that.
I'm going.
Well, congratulations again in
Thank you.
advance. Congratulations on your success overall, and what's to come. Again, I'm so thankful and grateful that you took the time out tonight. In closing, I would like you to share with everyone where they can find you, your website, your other social media platforms. I'm going to take everybody out while you're talking and sharing that. I'm going to be playing Bandemic. And again, the artist is Keyiara, produced by, of course, Mini Producer. Let us
Yes, y'all
know.
can find me at many. You can find me miniproducer.com. That's where my website is. You can find all my beats. You can find me on social media, everywhere. Mini Producer, TikTok, Mini Producer Official, and thank you to everyone that just even supported this interview. Shout out to my manager. Shout out to Jasmine. Shout out to AB Butler. Shout out to Mella underscore the Great. That's my girl. And shout out to everyone that's just showing support on my journey. So thank you so much. I'm definitely appreciative. Shout out to Simon and all the people I know. I could go on and on, but and thank you to you for even having me on here and letting me pass the vibe check. You know what I mean? At the preliminary interview. So I'm just incredibly grateful.
Well, I'm thankful too. I'm thankful also to your girl, Mela the Great. I think you have a
Yeah.
wonderful support system.
Yes.
Make sure you take care of her, most importantly,
Yes.
because she's taking
Definitely.
care of you. So
Yes.
um, keep being great, okay?
You as well. Thank you. And you have a blessed rest of your night. And you know this won't be the last time. So
First
I
not,
appreciate you.
okay? Stay in touch.
Thank you.
Okay, talk to you soon.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.